Don't believe all the media hype about young people being the most valuable things around and us senior men being less important. It's all malarkey. And today I'm going to talk to you about your critical importance to your grandchildren, regardless of where they live, regardless of what age they are, and even regardless of what your relationship with them is now, if you're willing to work on that. And that's really important. I'm Bill Klatte. I'm a 75-year-old psychotherapist and grandfather of four, here to give you 4 pointers that will really help you connect with your kids. And they are, number 1, be more consistent. Number 2, be more positive with them. Number 3, forget the family faults, which might get in your way. And number 4 is to treat them all the same. Don't have any favorites. You know, this can be really tough, especially if there's separation in the family somehow or a disconnect there with divorces or other challenges. But that doesn't mean your importance is any less than it ever was. It's always critical because grandfathers bring a certain history to the family. They bring connections to ancestors. They bring wisdom and strength and corny jokes and fun to grandkids who are really looking for that. Again, regardless of their age, whether they're 1 or 2 or 20 or 40. So it's really critical that you stay involved as long as you can and as well as you can. And I've got 4 pointers right here that I've learned with my 8 grandkids and all the work I've done with grandparents and parents and kids that can really make a difference in your life and make your life better, not to mention what it can do for the grandkids, okay? So the first thing is to be consistent. You gotta kind of be there on some regular basis in some way. If you're not living close by, number 1 is texting with kids. I don't know what age that starts anymore, probably around 10 or 12 or something. But you might not like texting, but that has nothing to do with what they like. So if they want to text, text. Get over yourself, okay? You can also make phone calls, of course. You can certainly remember birthdays and holidays to give them a little present or a card or a call or something so that they know you're still there. And if they live close by, you can see them more often. That's really a cool thing too. But the important thing is to stay connected over time so that you become a regular part of their life, even if it's at a distance. And that can work too, if they keep hearing from you. It can be difficult. It can be discouraging. You might want to give up many times, feeling like they don't care or they don't notice. But here's a critical thing, and I'll say this a lot. You have to see your importance to these grandchildren, whether they do or not. Because the younger they are, the less likely they are to understand that in any way. And you are important to them, whether their parents or others understand that or not. They may not see it either. You have to see it and know it and act on it by staying involved consistently. You know, it's like newsflash. Here's a piece of advice from the wise, and you're the wise in this case. Stay involved over the long haul so they can count on you being there. Even if it's not as often as you like, don't have to necessarily push for often. That can be a little overbearing. You got to play that by ear and listen to suggestions by other people close to you about what they think. And then you decide for yourself how you're going to go with it, but hopefully with discussion with others. So that's number 1, being consistently involved. Number 2 is be positive. If you're a grouchy old man, they ain't going to want to be with you. Look in the mirror and see how well you smile. Honestly, it's kind of hard for me to smile. It's weird, but you know, people say I smile a lot, but I don't feel it. And so I try to really check myself. And for sure, to be positive with them. Don't be critical. Don't be negative. Don't be angry. We all have certain moods, but around the grandkids, you got to perform a little bit. You got to be friendly. You got to be fun. You at least be nice and listen to them. Listen to what they say. If it's with their friends and it's goofy stuff, just listen. Don't be judgmental. If you're judgmental, get that out of here, because you're going to lose connection with your grandkids. They don't want somebody who's judgmental. They want somebody who's nice to them and listens to them and maybe tells some great stories about when you were a kid. Stuff that might be interesting to them. But look in their eyes. If they're starting to look around and then you see that they're getting kind of bored, end the story, and talk about them. Listen to them, because they want to talk lots of times. And that's a way you can connect with them, is let them rattle on, because it's important for them. That's really critical. Here's number 3. Forget the faulty family ways. If you disapprove of how their parents parent, or the amount of money they spend, too much or too little, or the things that they buy, which, if you're like me, is typically going to feel like they're buying way too much for these kids, and they're worrying too much about clothes and what to wear. This is kind of the world that younger people live in today. It wasn't the world I lived in when I worked on farms every summer, and there weren't name brand clothes. You wore what you had. But that's not the way it is today for many kids. So don't live in the past, live in the present, live in where they are. Connect with them where they are. You can give your opinions, of course, and stuff, and tell your stories, but don't diss them for being something you think they shouldn't because of what you think the influence is of family or family origins or problems. Try to put that out of your head so that you can connect with the kids as they are today, not just the way you want them to be. That's really important. And another critical thing, number 4, is to connect with all of them the same. Keep the kids all the same. Do not play favorites. That's a disaster. In family therapy, I can tell you, I saw several times where if somebody is a favorite, and I've had young adults tell me this, the guilt they carried, it makes me emotional to think about it. The guilt they carried to be the favorite. You'd think they might have liked it, but a lot of times they didn't, because they knew they were the favorite, and they knew that your other grandkids were not the favorite, and that created conflict between them, and that created guilt in the favorite one who didn't want that status to be better than the others, because it really caused problems. So if you have a favorite in your mind, one you kind of think is more like you or interesting or fun, that's fine. You can have that. We all make our decisions about how we feel about people. But don't show that to them. Don't do that to them. Maybe it happened to you. Maybe it happened to you in your family. Think about that. Or anybody you know. Being the favorite is not all what it's cracked up to be, because it puts a lot of pressure on people. I would say it this way. If you have a favorite, make it all of the kids being the favorite, and then all of the people in your family be the favorites, okay? Treat them all as if you love them and they are individuals with their own skills. Whatever your grandkids are good at, talk with them about that. Emphasize that. If you think two of them, like one's a great athlete in high school and the other's a nerdy book reader and you like great athletes, love your great athlete, but don't lord it over the other one. Don't ever compare them to each other. That's really hard on kids. And emphasize with the nerdy book reader what books they're reading. And how do they like it? And what do they like about it? And who's their author? Or what are they reading now? Maybe you'll even learn something. I mean, even old dogs like us can still learn new tricks, right? If we want to, if you're open to it, if you want to connect better. That's how you do it, by listening, not by talking so much. So those are the main points I really want to make to you today, and that you can do this, that you can change. If you want to change, if you're motivated enough, you can change. And do it slowly. It's not going to happen overnight, probably like all the TV commercials. I hate that stuff. Where you watch TV shows today and it's like, I know, change this overnight. Get instant relief in 5 minutes from any pain you have. Everything's easy, everything's simple. And the truth is, it's not really necessarily always that easy. And it takes commitment and time, but it can happen and you can do it. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, just so you know. That allows other people to find it. If you subscribe, you're not committed to anything. Just push that little button that's down there somewhere and subscribe, and you'll get my weekly videos like this. And you can open them or not. You don't have to. It's up to you, but at least you have an option. Doesn't commit you to any money or anything like that. Thanks for listening. I hope I'll see you next week, and I will respond to every comment I get on my YouTube channel, because it helps me decide to do